today I'll be showing you my project, or should I say the update 2 of my project. And recently I was working on a thing. I'm just continuing the first part of it. As you probably already know, if you haven't watched the first part, I would recommend you to watch it. But if you already did so, there was a thing called Chinese Chengyu there, which means Chinese idioms. And today I'll be demonstrating that part of it. So now I think without further ado, I should run the code first. So first of all, like those main windows, as you probably may have seen them earlier in the first video, where I've mentioned some languages like Chinese, English, Russian, and then their respectable tabs, according to like the context there. So this time I just commented all of them, so we can directly straight jump to the main part, which the theme of this video, which is going to be like the Chinese Chengyu. So this video is going to be comparatively shorter than the first one. So as you probably already know, like even back there when I was using the flashcards, so there we were having these 4 options with having all of them there, without having all of them their respectable cards. So right now we have the same situation here, because I think this is like basically copy and paste code bit. The only thing that I have changed is I added like a new function which is actually old, like if you still remember this one, paint and print, which is already available there, but I still like to keep it here in this one as well. So yeah, so I thought like it might be a good idea to still keep it. And then there is one option for pinyin, because Chengyu, they are considered to be advanced. Like if you are learning Chengyu, they are going to be advanced, and you probably at that point would be familiar with the characters or like the Hanzi. So but for some reason if you aren't, so there's still an option for pinyin. However, if you still want to go hardcore, you can, and they're going to, and then it's basically the same like the flashcards, but this time here I just used like it is not a label, it's like a text editor, because some of the descriptions is relatively long compared to what you're seeing right now. So if I can show you some examples, okay, as you can see that they are completely random, and just like back there for the Hanzi characters, it's the same thing. Like there's nothing changed apart from a bit of like the UI and the Chengyu, of course, but for the most part it still remains the same. And because I think I don't want it to change anything, because the stuff I already have is working so good. I mean by that I mean it is still working according to what I need, or what I need it to do. So it is working accordingly, so I think I don't need to update it for now. So it's basically the same. Alright, so I think instead of showing you and explaining you this thing, I think it would be more interesting if I can just show you the code. And at this point, if you probably saw the first video, and if you understood what I was trying to explain you there, like if it was actually accurate or something, so up to this point everything is probably the same. There is nothing in particular change apart from just adding a pinyin button, which help like to show or hide pinyin, that pinyin text. And then in the Chinese in the Chinese window, or should I say like the module, I made a new class for Chinese Chengyu, and it contains all of the things accordingly, like according to those Chinese Chengyus. So I have to design a new window, and it is slightly larger than the first one, if I can show you, as you can see. And it also contains some like the UI is still being a bit displaced, but most of the functions, or should I say the buttons, and the common feature among both of them is still similar, because I don't want to mess up the code. And if you talk about the signals, they are also the same, and even the repeat stuff is also working accordingly. However, I have to design like those Chengyu you were seeing. Now if I can show you some more examples of it, necessary. Right now these are 4, like in Chinese you have like Chengyus are basically made up of like 4 Chinese characters, so they are considered to be Chengyus for the most part, but some of them are relatively long. If I can show you, yeah, as you can see, some of them they are slightly longer, and sometimes they don't fit according to, since it's a label and it's not dynamic, so it does not fit here. Like, I mean, the text is still not visible fully, like it is not filled. So I have to design, if I can show you, not this one, yeah, as you can see. So Chunky Font Manager, like it manages according to the length of the Chunky, like the Renhan, which is the same. I'm going to be explaining you in a moment, but as you can see, it is the same. So according to its length, it just dynamically reduces the size, or just set the font size, both of the pinyin and both for the Hanzi. Now, pinyin doesn't matter if you are even hiding it, it is still doing to do its job there, but it is still going to be there. And if you talk about the Hanzi, this is important because some of them are really like 13 to 15 characters long, so they have to fit in size, so I do have to reduce the size for it, which actually doesn't look too good. I mean, like if I'm showing you some, by chance, like if there are going to be some 15 to 13 long characters long Chunky, so it is going to be too long, but it still look ugly compared to like all those 4 or 5 characters mostly, because I think when I was designing it, it was my main concern. And if I show you my data set, which I'm going to show you in a moment, majority of the characters, if I say like maybe 70 to 80% of them are consist of 4 to 5, and they are like 4 to 5 characters long. So still those are not my main concern if you talk about the longer Chunkies. But on the other hand, if you can see, I still have to dynamically adjust them, and also they're respectable change font. Like if I even want to change font, I have to do it accordingly. And one more thing, since the Chunky text and I mean the Hanzi which help to load the character, I mean, since the first one, like the normal window, not the repeat one, but the normal window, like the window you see for the first time once you select your plan, so you are basically randomly generating the random Hanzi, so it is easier to call it. However, if you talk about the repeat one, so it is actually a bit challenging. So it is actually a bit challenging compared to what they can actually do there. So yeah, I have to design a new system for it. Like not system, but like I still have to make a new function with the same parameters and the same basically the same code, but like the only thing that might be different was to just set up the Hanzi, to load the Hanzi characters that are going to be that are stored in my list. I mean, that are appended every time I just check that cross button. So so I have to load it from there. However, now let me show you this one monster of a code. This is the data set, and I use Chinese English idioms dictionary, and it consists of almost like 700 pages. So this collection is really long, and I use the same method like I did before for the Hanzis, except like this one was fairly too long, should I say. So like the first one are the A's, and then the B's, and then the C's, and then like you probably know, I have to put them in parallel. I mean, even the pinyin and then the description, so it should work accordingly. Yeah, so I think that is pretty much it for about, if you talk about the code, like that is pretty much it. And sorry for keeping this video too short. I think I should keep these videos too short, like not too long as half an hour long. So, but to explain you, this is actually, I mean, at that point I'm still unsatisfied a bit, because like this was copy and paste from my first code back here. I used the same Chinese Hanzi framework to also apply it to here for these flashcards, but still I'm happy that it's still functioning as it is supposed to. So anyways, thanks for watching and see you around.